So where does that leave the case now? We do want to bring back in attorney Matt Murphy to talk more about this. Matt, thanks for staying with us.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about this. One of the lawyers for the brothers accused the DA of having a, quote, personal bias in this case, saying he lived close to the crime scene. He went to the same high school as the brothers in 1989. Are you seeing basis for bias here?
No. And look, Sasha, I live in LA County. Nathan Hochman didn't just come in because George Gascon's term ended. George Gascon lost. He was voted out by the voters of Los Angeles by almost 30 points. He came in on a reform platform and was credited by much of law enforcement in Los Angeles County for a huge spike in crime. He was one of these catch and release, let everybody out, no cash bail, don't oppose violent felons from being released from prison types. So, Los Angeles is arguably, depending on the day, the single most liberal city in the United States. And that man was far too left for the voters of Los Angeles. The Menendez brothers are represented by Mark Garagos, who I've known for years. Mark's a great guy. We go back, we did cases back together in the day, but Mark's a showman. His chances of winning, it's called a 1424 hearing, and getting Nathan Hochman thrown off the case are pretty much zero. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. I could see a judge potentially resentencing and them getting a parole date. There are three different tracks legally right now. One is what's known as a habeas petition, which sat on George Gascon's desk for 18 months prior to this recommended for resentencing. The second way is the resentencing hearing, which got continued. And the third way is a motion for clemency that is currently sitting on Gavin Newsom's desk. So there's three different things. What happened this last week is they did a risk assessment pursuant to the governor's clemency order. And what Nathan Hochman is requesting is that the court consider what was determined in the risk assessment for release. So that's something that's done by the CDC or the California Department of Corrections to assess an inmate's suitability for parole. So there's a few layers here. It will be interesting to see what happens. And of course, they've spent 35 years in custody.
Appreciate that context. At a recent hearing, prosecutors displayed a graphic image of the murder scene. The family was in the courtroom at the time. They say they were given no warning. They have filed a complaint against the DA saying this move violated a victim's rights law. And they say that an 85-year-old relative has been hospitalized seriously as a result. Will this complaint impact the likelihood of a recusal in any way?
I really don't think so. There's a thing called Marsy's Law. That's the Crime Victims' Bill of Rights, and that's the law that they're referring to on this. The real victims here, well, immediate family are considered victims under the California Constitution. Let's not forget, it's Jose and Kitty Menendez. They're the murder victims. And if you're a family member who wants to attend one of these proceedings, this was a almost uniquely brutal murder. They took a shotgun and blew their mother's face off in this. And all this talk about the dad was molesting them and all that, whether that's true or not, the parents are almost spoken of as one block here. They murdered their mother too. And if the family's going to attend these things, I represent the family members of murder victims as a part of my practice. Everybody who walks into a courtroom for something like this is on notice that the graphic nature of the crime is absolutely going to be an issue. So I think that is kind of outrageous, to be honest with you, that they complained against Nathan, made a formal complaint against Nathan Hochman for presenting evidence in a courtroom. And remember, there is no jury here. So there isn't anybody who's necessarily going to be overwhelmed by that type of image. This part of the procedural process, the family has to expect that sort of thing if they're going to attend the proceedings. So I don't see that getting any traction.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.